right now on 5 on your side at 10.
We start tonight in a storm alert. Just minutes ago, a tornado watch was issued for many of our Illinois counties as storms develop along a powerful cold front moving across the bi-state tonight. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. After reaching a record 86 degrees today, temperatures are expected to drop to 60 degrees overnight. And we get straight over to meteorologist Jim Castillo, who's tracking the chances of some severe weather. Jim?
Yes, and we're expecting that mainly east of the Mississippi in 11 of our Illinois counties, not including places like Greene, Macoupin, or Montgomery counties, but south of there. And we're watching one cell, eastern Madison County, pushing into Bond County. This is the strongest one so far. It is not severe, but we're watching it move into a more favorable environment and watching it move right along Interstate 70. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Even Lambert had some showers and thunderstorms that rapidly developed over the last hour here. Watching more cells to our north and west, but that cooler, drier air is coming in place and slamming in to that really warm and moist air just to the east of St. Louis. So a tornado watch, there it is. 11 of our counties in Illinois, including the Metro East, until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then look at Kansas City. Snow and sleet, even some thunder snow and sleet right through there. This is a very dynamic system. Chicago had a couple of tornadoes reported tonight. So a tornado watch is east of St. Louis. Watching the radar for really all night here. And then that bitter cold day for tomorrow, much more on the forecast coming up.
And remember, you can get the latest weather first forecast anytime. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355. We'll send it straight to your phone.
We are following a developing story out of North St. Louis. Police are investigating a deadly shooting in the Academy Sherman Park neighborhood. A man was found shot to death near the intersection of Del Mar and Clarendon. No word on what led to the shooting or if there have been any arrests. This marks the city's 30th homicide in the first 2 months of 2024.
Tonight, the attorney of one of the men accused of kidnapping, beating, and holding a woman captive at a South St. Louis church is speaking out.
Robert Townsend sat down with the lawyer just a few hours ago and has the interview you will only see here tonight.
Kelly and Mike, attorney Chris Combs represents suspect Grace Capendo. Combs is maintaining his client's innocence and shedding new light on this disturbing case. On Monday, people in this South St. Louis neighborhood expressed shock and sadness after hearing a woman was allegedly kidnapped, beaten, and held against her will at Mount of Olives Ministry.
My heart aches for her. I think it's horrible.
Police say shortly after one Saturday morning, they responded to a call for help at the church. According to a probable cause statement, officers found a woman in a room bound with rope and bleeding from her head.
She's a victim of something. I of course do not believe that my client had anything to do with it.
Chris Combs' client, 28-year-old Grace Capendo, Capendo's brother, Munga Fungamali, and a third man are each charged with kidnapping and assault. Combs says all three suspects are members of the church. He says the woman, who's in her early 20s, and several other men and women live in separate rooms at the church.
It's my understanding that yes, she was suffering from severe mental health issues, and as far as what happened, no one knows.
Combs says during a bond hearing Monday, the woman's parents and siblings supported the suspects and told a judge about a year ago they moved the woman to the St. Louis church to get help. Combs says Friday night a 30-day fast service was underway when police moved in.
She ID'd Mr. Capendo, my client, his brother, and another gentleman. Everyone emphatically denies any involvement in this.
Grace Capendo is a second lieutenant in the Army. He and his wife live in Arnold, and they're expecting their first baby.
I believe that in the coming weeks, a lot of light will be shed on this, and that there's an entirely different story that will come out.
On Monday, the three suspects are back in court for another bond hearing.
Tonight, police continue to search for the man wanted for a shooting in St. Charles County that left a woman critically injured. Police said a witness told investigators the suspect arranged to meet the victim last night at an apartment complex off St. Peter's Howell Road. Police still have not released the man's name or a detailed description because they don't want to compromise the investigation, but they believe he knows the victim.
Tonight, the man accused in the deadly crash that killed a mother and daughter from Chicago is on house arrest. Monty Henderson was in court today, where a judge also ordered him to surrender his driver's license. Earlier this month, a different judge allowed Henderson to post a $20,000 bond without any conditions. And video of that horrific crash is circulating on social media. 5 on Your Side has decided to share some of that video, but we are not showing the moment of impact. The video shows Henderson's car speeding through the intersection of 18th and Olive. Police say he was driving at 70 miles per hour when he clipped another car and then hit Leticia Bracero and Elisa Cordova. They will be buried in Chicago this weekend. Hundreds of dollars could soon be headed to thousands of people who were incarcerated in Ferguson.
A court granted preliminary approval for a settlement to move forward after a civil rights group accused the city of throwing people in jail to make money. New tonight, our Brent Solomon shows us who could be owed a payment.
The local protests following the death of Michael Brown not only giving people a chance to be heard, it also prompted action.
It's thousands of people who Ferguson put in jail.
The Arch City Defenders filed suit against 7 localities in our region, including Ferguson. The group says it all started with
some sort of minor ticket, and then it snowballed, where there were fees they couldn't afford, there were fines they couldn't afford, then they were getting additional fines because they didn't come back to court, they were getting locked up, then they would have to pay bond to get out of the jail. If you had $500, you could walk out the door, and if you didn't have $500, you had to sit there in prison, and we think that was unconstitutional.
all of the localities settled. The court just gave preliminary approval to accept the last settlement to the tune of $4.5 million with Ferguson.
If you are a person that remembers sitting in the Ferguson jail because they were holding you there, maybe you were sitting there because you couldn't pay your bond, or maybe you were sitting there, until they released you, you are eligible for money from this settlement.
I asked city leaders here, can Ferguson afford this settlement? And might some city services be impacted as a result? A spokesperson telling me they're not commenting just yet until the court finally approves the settlement. In Ferguson, Brent Solomon, 5 on Your Side.
Anyone was held by Ferguson from February of 2010 to December of 2022 is asked to get in contact with the administrator handling the settlement, and we placed a link for you on KSDK.com. Each person's payout will be based on how many hours they spent in jail.
Just hours ago, St. Louis residents and restaurateurs got another chance to voice their concerns to the Board of Aldermen about a controversial proposal to change the city's liquor license process. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barcheski is live outside City Hall with the latest.
Kelly, this bill's getting mixed reactions. Neighborhoods were largely against it, and the restaurateurs were in favor of it. But now, after considering more than 20 amendments, it's getting a lot more support.
St. Louis Board Bill 60 would allow businesses applying for a restaurant and bar liquor license to opt out of petitioning the neighborhood that's within a 350-foot radius of where they plan to open. Joe Kelly and his firm specialize in liquor license applications and know how tough it can be to get one with the current petition process.
And we find that businesses, if they do their homework, they contact their neighborhood association, they contact their alderperson before they move forward on a project. It is very helpful. But again, the petition process is a cumbersome process.
If this bill becomes law, restaurants can apply for a 90-day temporary liquor license after a series of hearings, and at the end of that, the city's excise commissioner would have the option to renew it. Once 180 days has passed, the commissioner would examine the business's records to make sure the restaurant is making more than 50% of its money on food sales. Restaurateur Ben Paremba says he's in favor of making this process faster, but also knows how hard it can be to reach certain thresholds.
We've experienced serious rise in food costs. And there is a limit to what the public perception of what we can charge for our food. The margins for us are with liquor. It's just the reality of running restaurants post-pandemic.
An alliance of neighborhood associations was against doing away with the petition process, but have come to terms with it after compromises, including a requirement that restaurants applying this way be a maximum of 4,000 square feet and not allowing nightclubs and bars to go this route. James Dwyer with the Central West End Neighborhood Association says one of their bigger issues is with loud music.
So if we have the ability to influence whether they can do business initially or in the long run, then we have a stronger foundation for a conversation.
The restaurateur says in comparison, it only took him 3 weeks to get a liquor license for his county restaurant, but for his city restaurant, it took nearly 9 months under the current law. So now this bill has passed out of committee and will go in front of the full Board of Aldermen possibly later this week. Reporting live downtown, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
The results are coming in tonight from the Michigan presidential primary, and the vote in this crucial swing state is further solidifying a likely rematch between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. Trump has been declared the winner in the GOP race. He once again handily defeated Nikki Haley, who has vowed to stay in the race through at least Super Tuesday next week. More delegates will be awarded Saturday during caucus events. Over on the Democrat side, President Joe Biden won with a sizable lead over his competitors. Notably, though, 14% of vote has gone uncommitted. Those voters are protesting President Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas war.
A local nursing facility accused of not paying its bills.
This shouldn't happen at all, especially in this country.
Now a local businessman is out thousands of dollars, still waiting to be paid.
How is this happening?
It's a common practice.
Tonight, the I-Team exposes a wider problem throughout the industry.
And our weather, we're in storm alert with some storms that are popping up mainly on the Illinois side. And this one strong cell just east of Greenville and headed toward Vandalia may have some small hail with it. We'll talk about the tornado watch, who's under that, and the cold weather coming tomorrow.